Scotland is packed with history, but it's not just in castles and coastlines. You can feel it in its football grounds. Every old county in the country, from Aberdeen to Argyll, has its own story told through terraces, steel, and stubborn fans. Today, we're touring through the biggest football stadiums in each of the historic Scottish counties. Let's dive right in. 27. Aberdeenshire, Pittodrie Stadium, Aberdeen FC. Right up in the northeast, you'll find Pittodrie Stadium, the proud home of Aberdeen Football Club. Built in 1899, this ground has grown from a wooden stand beside the sea into a modern 20,000-seater with deep football history. Pittodrie was one of the first all-seater stadiums in Britain and is famous for its icy sea winds that sweep in off the North Sea. 26. Angus, Forfarshire, Tannadice Park, Dundee United. In historic Angus, the biggest football ground is Tannadice Park, home to Dundee United. It first opened in 1883, tucked tightly into a Dundee neighborhood where football practically hums through the walls. The capacity sits around 14,200, and it's one of Scotland's most atmospheric old-school stadiums. It's also just 200 yards from Dundee FC's Dens Park. 25. Argyllshire, Dunoon Stadium, Cowal Peninsula. Now we head west to the rugged beauty of Argyllshire, where football meets the Highlands and sea. The Dunoon Stadium, sitting on the Cowal Peninsula, isn't a modern pro arena. It's a grand old community bowl built back in the 1930s. It once hosted massive junior matches, Highland gatherings, and even wartime events. 24. Ayrshire, Somerset Park, Ayr United. Head south to Ayrshire, and you'll find Somerset Park, the proud home of Ayr United since 1910. It's one of the few classic Scottish stadiums still standing mostly in its original form. Capacity hovers around 10,000, with old terracing that roars when the honest men play. Somerset is pure vintage Scottish football, close to the pitch, loud and alive. 23. Banffshire, Victoria Park, Buckie Thistle. Further north along the coast, Victoria Park in Buckie is home to Buckie Thistle, one of the biggest names in the Highland League. The ground first opened in the early 1900s, and while its current capacity sits around 3,000, its record crowds once topped 8,000 during post-War Cup ties. 22. Berwickshire, Golden Jubilee Park, Duns FC. Berwickshire is one of the quieter footballing counties, but Golden Jubilee Park in Duns is its beating heart. Home to the town's football club, it's a modest ground, yet it carries real heritage. Duns FC was once a force in the Border League and produced players like Bobby Johnstone, who went on to shine for Hibernian and Scotland. 21. Caithness, Harmsworth Park, Wick Academy. Way up north, almost at the top of mainland Scotland, lies Harmsworth Park, home to Wick Academy FC. The ground dates back to 1920, and though its capacity is only around 2,400, the sense of isolation gives it a magic few others can match. Surrounded by windswept hills and the sea beyond, this Highland League ground is as raw as football gets. 20. Clackmannanshire, Recreation Park, a low athletic. In the small but proud county of Clackmannanshire, Recreation Park in a low takes the top spot. Built in 1895, it's been home to a low athletic for well over a century. The stadium holds around 3,100, and while small, it's packed with character. The Ochil Hills rise dramatically behind the main stand, making it one of the most scenic backdrops in central Scotland. 19. Dumfriesshire, Palmerston Park, Queen of the South. Down in the southwest, Palmerston Park stands tall in Dumfries. Opened in 1919, it's the proud home of Queen of the South FC, one of Scotland's most respected smaller clubs. With a capacity around 8,000, it's known for its towering main terrace and steep stands that create a surprisingly strong atmosphere. 18. Dunbartonshire, Dumbarton Football Stadium, Dumbarton FC. At the foot of the dramatic Dumbarton Rock, you'll find Dumbarton Football Stadium, opened in 2000. It replaced the old Boghead Park, which once hosted over 18,000 fans, making it one of the oldest football lineages in Scotland. The new ground holds about 2,000, with stunning views of the River Clyde and the castle looming overhead. 17. East Lothian, Haddingtonshire, Millfield Park, Haddington Athletic. Football in East Lothian might not make the headlines, but Millfield Park in Haddington has been a steady presence for decades. Built in the 20th century, it's home to Haddington Athletic, a club that represents its historic county with pride. Capacity is modest, yet the community feel is huge. 16. Fife, East End Park, Dunfermline Athletic. Finally, in Fife, we reach East End Park, one of Scotland's great traditional stadiums. Built in 1921, it's home to Dunfermline Athletic, a club steeped in mid-century success. The capacity today is around 11,480, but it once held more than 27,000 fans during the 1960s. It has hosted European nights, local derbies, and the famous Pars Army. 15. Inverness-shire, Caledonian Stadium, Inverness Caledonian Thistle. And up in the Highlands sits the modern Caledonian Stadium, opened in 1996. It's home to Inverness Caledonian Thistle, who rose rapidly through the leagues to reach the Scottish Premiership. Capacity is about 7,800, but it's hosted some huge moments, including Inverness's Scottish Cup triumph in 2015. Set beside the Moray Firth, the ground mixes modern design with Highland calm. 14. Lanarkshire, Fir Park, Motherwell FC. Located in Motherwell, Fir Park has stood as one of Lanarkshire's defining sporting landmarks since 1895. With a current capacity of around 13,700, it's a classic British stadium, steeped in history but steadily modernized over the years. The ground underwent major redevelopment in the 1990s, giving it a new south stand and a more compact, all-seater layout. 13. Midlothian, Edinburghshire, Easter Road and Tynecastle Park. Midlothian proudly holds two of Scotland's most storied football temples, Easter Road and Tynecastle Park, homes to Hibernian and Hearts, respectively. Both seat roughly 20,000 fans and sit within Edinburgh's football-fueled neighborhoods. Easter Road, built in 1893, carries a deep connection to the city's working-class Irish community. Its modern look came after a complete rebuild between 1995 and 2010. 12. Murrayshire, Elginshire, Borough Briggs, Elgin City FC. In the northern county of Moray, Borough Briggs in Elgin stands as one of Scottish football's most remote league grounds. Opened in 1921, it holds about 4,000, with space for around 600 seated. Elgin City joined the Scottish Football League in 2000, bringing national competition to this quiet Highland town. 11. Nairnshire, Station Park, Nairn County FC. In Nairnshire, the home of Nairn County FC, Station Park is a tidy Highland League venue with a capacity around 2,250. Opened in 1914, it sits near the railway line, giving it an old-fashioned charm. You can hear the trains whistle as the match goes on. Nairn County may not draw massive crowds, but their ground is immaculately kept. Orkney, Kirkwall Recreation Grounds, Orkney FC. Football on the islands takes on a different tone, and in Orkney, matches are played at the Kirkwall Recreation Grounds, sometimes called the Kirkwall Stadium. It's not a professional venue in the traditional sense, rather a community hub, with small terraces and open fields. Capacity figures aren't formally recorded, but it's enough to host Orkney FC, who compete in the North Caledonian League. 10. Peeblesshire, Whitestone, Rather Park, Peebles Rovers FC. Nestled in the Scottish borders, Whitestone Park in Peebles is home to Peebles Rovers, one of the country's oldest amateur clubs. Built in 1906, the ground holds about 2,000 spectators. The setting is postcard-worthy, surrounded by rolling hills and quiet streets. Whitestone Park represents small-town Scottish football at its purest, where volunteers still mark the lines and fans know every player by name. 9. Perthshire, McDermott Park, St Johnstone FC. McDermott Park in Perth is a model of modern Scottish stadium design. Opened in 1989, it seats 10,696 and was the first purpose-built all-seater ground in the country. St Johnstone FC calls it home, and it's seen some remarkable moments, including the club's historic Scottish Cup win celebrations in 2014 and 2021. 8. Renfrewshire, Capello Park, Greenock Morton FC. Few grounds in Scotland ooze character like Capello Park in Greenock. Built in 1879, it's among the oldest in continuous use and holds around 11,000. Home to Greenock Morton FC, it sits snugly between a shipyard and a railway, reflecting the town's industrial roots. The Cowshed, the old covered terrace, still rumbles with noise on match day. 7. Ross and Cromarty, Victoria Park, Ross County FC. Up in Dingwall, Victoria Park, now known as the Global Energy Stadium, is home to Ross County FC, the northernmost club in the Scottish Premiership. Opened in 1929 and expanded several times, it holds about 6,500. Ross County's rise from Highland League football to top-flight contenders is one of Scotland's best football stories. 6. Roxburghshire, Netherdale Stadium, Gallifreydene Rovers FC. Netherdale, in Galashiels, is one of the most distinctive stadiums in Scotland. Opened in 1964, it's home to Gallifreydene Rovers, a team currently playing in the Lowland League. Capacity sits around 4,000, but it's the architecture that makes it famous. The Brutalist-style main stand is a protected building and an icon of 1960s design. 5. Shetland, Zetland, Gilbertson Park, Lerwick. Far to the north, Gilbertson Park in Lerwick is Shetland's main sports ground. It's home to local league and representative matches, with a capacity of around 1,000. Built in 1901, it doubles as a community athletics venue. Football here has a rugged charm. The pitch sits just minutes from the sea, and games are often played under gusty winds. 4. Stirlingshire, Falkirk Stadium, Falkirk FC. Falkirk Stadium, built in 2004, is the modern face of Stirlingshire football. With a capacity of 7,937, it replaced the old Brockville Park and quickly became one of Scotland's best-designed mid-sized grounds. It's home to Falkirk FC, known for their loyal following and strong youth setup. The stadium also hosts concerts and community events, cementing its place as a civic hub. 3. Sutherland, Dudgeon Park, Brora Rangers FC. In Sutherland, football's beating heart is Dudgeon Park, home to Brora Rangers of the Highland League. Capacity is roughly 2,000, but that hardly tells the story. Brora's ground, established in 1920, has witnessed the club's remarkable dominance in northern football, including back-to-back league titles in the 2010s. 2. West Lothian, Almonvale Stadium, Livingston FC. Almonvale Stadium, better known today as the Tony Macaroni Arena, is a clean, compact ground in Livingston. Opened in 1995, it holds about 9,512. Livingston FC has climbed from lower leagues to the Premiership, and Almonvale has adapted along the way. Upgraded facilities, hybrid turf, and improved seating. 1. Wigtownshire, Stair Park, Stranraer FC. Down in Scotland's far southwest lies Stair Park, home to Stranraer FC. Opened in 1907, it holds around 5,600 and doubles as a public park and stadium. The main stand, built in the 1930s, still carries that vintage charm. For away fans, it's one of the longest trips in British football, but the welcome is famously warm. And there you have it. From the granite towns of the north to the rolling borders of the south, these stadiums are more than just places to play football. They're pieces of Scotland's living history. Each ground, whether it holds 20,000 or just a few hundred, reflects the pride and personality of its county. Thanks for watching. If you love the content, please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment. See you in the next one.